How's it going, everybody? What's up? Welcome back to the Daily Zone, the daily video on this channel. Me, your host, yours truly, Calvzone, or whatever you want to call me. I hope you're all having a fantastic Sunday, and mine was pretty good. Mine was pretty good. I spent this morning playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That DLC is phenomenal. Been playing the Forge one. I feel like we're getting close to the end, I want to say. And then I get to start the Mysterious Ecclesias or something like that. Should be pretty close. I think after I record this video, I'm probably going to record another episode of Outer Worlds 2, just because I'm feeling really good. And, yeah, that's about all the gaming stuff I've got to yap about, though that's not what this video is mainly going to be about, because I spent the past probably hour, doing a little bit of writing, I always talk about, what if I was a fantasy author, what if I was, and, the hardest part about doing the author thing is writing the book, and then, obviously, I'm sure some people are like, the publishing and all that. I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just trying to write a book, and I struggle a lot with motivation and just wanting to do it. It's like I got a ton of ideas in my head, but actually sitting down to put those on typing or writing them down, it takes a lot. But for some reason, for about an hour, I've sat here and I've wrote about 5 pages, and you may be like, 5 pages in an hour, that's kind of slow. Yes, but 5 pages is better than no pages. Am I right, guys? Am I right? And I want to just talk about, what I've wrote. I want to show y'all what I wrote. Y'all can read it, and then y'all can be like, oh, this is straight garbage. Or, you can be nice and say it was good. Lie to me a little, give me a little something. But I also want to talk about the music I was listening to while writing it, and just we'll just sit here and yap for a little bit. I need to let y'all know, Puppet by John Michael Howell. Phenomenal song. And I literally listened to it for most of what is in this action kind of scene that I have wrote. Now, I have no real writing experience, okay? I did take college English classes, but I will be honest, I did not get along with my teachers at all. And the most writing experience I have is I run D&D, okay? So, like, that's the extent of my writing background. And also, the last time I wrote a book, the one person I had read it said it was a little too, I was in too much detail about the characters, and he said it felt like it was a romance novel, which is not what I was going for, and so, take that into account when you're reading my descriptions and stuff. But yeah, without further ado, I hope y'all enjoy. I'm not gonna voice act this, though I totally thought about it. It's definitely something I would do, is voice act my own little thing. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let y'all read it. It's probably gonna be one of those you should pause to read it, unless I sit here and yap for long enough. But for anybody that's played D&D with me, you're going to recognize these names, a lot of them, and the places. I'm setting this up in kind of my own homebrew world that I had made, which I guess is most fantasy novels places, they make their own homebrew world. Mine is set in one of my, I guess not the first homebrew D&D world I ever made, but definitely the most memorable. I had the most memorable campaigns, specifically with a character named Callum, who my best friend played. He was Callum. He was a mage. He came from a great place that I won't say much of, because I really want to explore that. If I get around to writing this book, I want to explore that. Obviously, I'm not even finished with the first chapter because it's 5 pages. But I've wrote about as much as I feel like I can write right now. I need a little break from my brain. But I'm thinking the way I'm going to write this book, if I get around, it's a lot of ifs, okay, guys? It's a lot of ifs. I'm very hard about committing to certain things, and my own personal, I struggle to commit to stuff that involves myself. If it's just me holding myself accountable, I struggle quite a bit. When it's for other people, I don't struggle too much, but for myself, I struggle quite a lot. But the way I'm going to write this is I figured I'm going to do the thing where I jump from one character to the other, so, the chapters are going to be like Callum, and then the other character I'm setting up. Because I'm kind of writing this book, the idea, right? The idea that started this book is, oh my god, I got a homebrew D&D world, I want to re-experience it. I didn't get to finish that D&D campaign because I was a new DM, and I listened to a player and let him influence my decisions, and then made a terrible play, I made a terrible call that kind of just ruined the campaign. And so I had this whole story plot line figured out, and we didn't even finish Act 1, but that campaign was so formative for me that it's stuck in my head permanently. It's my magnum opus, if you would say. And it's been stuck in my mind for just ever. I cannot get rid of it. But I have that story all the way down to the finale. and I wanted to explore it because obviously I can't run that campaign again, and I can't, I can't really experience that story. The only way I can get this story to happen is if I write it in a book format. And this is my attempt at it. We're starting with Callum because Callum is sort of a main character. He is a mainstay. He is one of my favorite characters that anybody has ever played in any of my D&Ds ever. I could gush over him for quite a bit. Just a phenomenal character. This is my interpretation of him, by the way. A lot of what you'll be seeing in this book is not necessarily representative of the characters, though I am pulling from some of their notes and stuff. Because they're my best friend and stuff. I hope they don't have issues. And if they do, and I get sued, it's just... It is what it is. But I mean, I'm supposed to be the best man at the wedding. I mean, you wouldn't sue your best man, right? Right, man? You wouldn't sue me, right? We're best friends, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So a lot of these, I will change up details and stuff. So if you are somebody that did play in the D&D and you notice something is different, that's because I'm changing it because I like it. Because some things, obviously, in a D&D don't play out the way you intend them to. Because it is D&D, I'm not sitting there railroading the story, so I kind of have to let, stuff happen. And sometimes a goblin gets blown up, sometimes someone gets shot, sometimes somebody gets stabbed that you didn't intend to get stabbed. They're like the main quest NPC, and the rogue's just like, what if I stab this guy? And you go, well, that's tough, but I'm not going to say no because this is D&D, and my whole gimmick is to not say no. Oh, that's how I run D&D. I know some people would say no. To my own fault, let people do things they really shouldn't be able to do to my, to the, downside of the campaign. But yeah, I will point out, this, I believe, yeah. So I began the kind of combat sequence, and this is when I was listening to Puppet. I listened to this song on repeat. Pretty good song. Not even really connected to what's going on in the story, because I made my own kind of monster. I tried to think of something grody, something grotesque. I don't want to do the typical demon. In the campaign, the monsters were demons, and especially, because I'll explore this later in the book, but basically in my world, if you play Dragon Age, it's similar to that. It's my own take on the Dragon Age system, where mages can be possessed by demons. The whole gimmick is they have this power, the demons want this power. If they possess the mages, they have access to not only a really good vessel, also the magical power those people had access to. And so Callum is a very special individual who has been given some magical, tattoos, I would say for now, that allows him to be a little more resistant to demons. However, not completely resistant to their, them as a whole. But I had to change demons. I wanted it to be my own little thing. So hopefully nobody has male beast. I know it sounds like male and beast, but I was thinking of the maelstrom, like a maelstrom. And I was like, well, what if they're a male beast, that's how it's supposed to be said. I know it might not read as male beast, but it is what it is. And then I came up with Maladurks because I thought it sounded cool for a monster. The image is, I wanted a very grotesque, stretchy monster. I wanted this monster to be able to I wanted it to be it shoved itself inside of a person, it emptied their entirety of the insides, and then kind of just filled up their body, and was able to puppet them around, and then when he wants to fight, he rips open that body and just explodes outwards. I didn't go into as much detail as I wanted to with it. However, I am setting up a literal fight scene with it, and I figured I'd go into detail then, and I could explain all that as we went. As you can tell, I've not done a lot of actual dialogue writing, so I apologize if it's a bit rough. But I had fun. I thought this was sick. As I said, I only got to page 5, and then I stopped because this was when I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I'm about to have to write the actual big old fight, and I don't know if I'm ready to write that yet. But yeah, that's what I've gotten wrote so far. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to me and reading it. I can't promise anything, okay, guys, because I'm very bad at promising stuff like that. But if you were reading it, let me know what you thought. I would appreciate it. Even if you are a little critical, I can take it sometimes. If you're just mean, I might get a little sad, but it is what it is. That's kind of what anytime you make art and stuff like that, you kind of have to just be ready to accept the good and the bad. It's like YouTube videos, it's like writing books, making art, really anything like that, music. There's always going to be people that dislike it and like it, There's the back and forth. Because I mean, there are some people nowadays that still like the people from World War II, and I can't fathom that. Most people can't fathom that, but it's there. There's an audience for that, evidently. It's not mine. That's not who I want. If you're one of those people, have a good life, but do not come around me. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. That's all I really got. Besides gaming content, obviously. We were approaching 500 subscribers, but then I kind of went laissez-faire, you know, I went a little slacking. I do want to stream more. I'm going to be saying no to Deadlock sometimes, unfortunately, to my cousin and my brother's downside. However, I want to play more games. I got a lot of games I need to play, and I like hanging out with the kind of community we have built. I've been floating the idea of making a Discord channel, but the problem is I don't know what it would be, you know? It's real weird, you know? Most Discord like communities are like huge. Mine would be like 10 people, and I don't know exactly how that'd be beneficial. How to make it worth joining is, I bet, that sort of deal. But yeah, I've rambled for a little bit. I'm gonna go drink some water, move around some more stuff. As you see, I did move the D&D drawer thing. I don't even know what you call that. It's really just a TV stand, I think. But I did order a new tree. That tree will be here sometime this week, hopefully. And then I will I gotta get the whole dealio set up. I will tell y'all though, the candle and the I would forget the vinyls, fantastic ambiance. My room has fantastic ambiance. I just have to figure out the best way to work in the couch and TV into this setup because it's very awkward. I've just got like 2 TV stands, a standing desk, and a couch over here that I gotta figure out how to rearrange in a way that makes this room look even more appealing. And when I figure out how to do that, I'll be sure to let y'all know. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, thank you all so much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys hopefully today, later, or tomorrow. Bye-bye.